Hello, I'm Tessa Shepperson of Landlord Law, and I'm here at the Norfolk show with Charlotte Notley, who's got a stand over there. And Charlotte, you founded Taylor Investigations, I understand.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about you and the business that you started.
So I used to be in the police, in South Yorkshire Police, and 8 years ago now, it feels like a lifetime, but 8 years ago I left the police force and decided to set a business up, which was Taylor Investigations. And yeah, so for 8 years we're a private investigation company. We do all private investigation services, genealogy research, and also process serving.
Right, okay, so if landlords need someone to serve a notice,
You
you're their
call
woman.
us, yes, exactly.
You're their woman.
Yes, exactly.
Now, what area does your service cover? Is it just Norfolk or is it nationwide?
No, it's nationwide. It's technically we're global, so we do work overseas. Obviously, if it comes to landlord and properties overseas, that's a whole different legal system.
Well, yeah,
we don't get involved in. But no, nationwide, particularly for our landlords. Yeah, up and down the country, we work with landlords, property developers, estate agents as well. They'll refer work to us. So yeah.
So specifically with the foreign thing, you can act for a foreign landlord so long as the property there is in England.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had the same with our business.
Yeah.
So, what's the main sort of work that you do for landlords, and do you have any stories about what you've done?
I have so many stories, and I often say that when I get to an age where I retire, I will write a book one day, because I am a walking book, so I have loads of stories. But primarily, when it comes to the services that we offer for landlords, it is process serving, it is person tracing, it is also asset tracing as well. So if they are dealing with a tenant who they have had to evict, but they still owe them lots of money, we can look at what's the liability. Is the tenant got any assets that landlord can go after before they start that court process?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to weigh it up. Is it worth it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
There's no point in going after someone who hasn't got any money.
You don't. The saying we always use: "Don't throw good money after bad." So yeah, it's asset tracing, it's person tracing. Like I say, they will. If they do leave in the middle of the night and you don't know where they've gone, if you need to pursue them, you need to know where they are. So person tracing and process serving. So serving all of the notices, Section 8, Section 21s, all of those notices we can serve.
Yeah. Of course, it's often the one that you most want to get that hasn't got the assets, isn't it? I know that's really frustrating for landlords because they'll have a really bad tenant. And there's sometimes nothing you can do.
And that's the thing, and there are times where it's look to get the CCJ, and ultimately that's there for 6 years. So see what happens. It could be a case of just seeing how that tenant goes on in life, and you never know what's going to happen. They might have a relative who passes away, and all of a sudden they come into some inheritance, and there is some money and viable assets for them that can be recovered as well.
Or they could get a job.
Or they could get a job,
And you can have a CCJ, So, do you have any tips for landlords? What guidance would you have for landlords to avoid problems in the first place?
Vetting is always key. Vetting is really, really the key point, and looking at an individual to really understand who they are. I always find it really interesting when landlords come to us and they have a problem tenant, and we look at it and they've been a problem tenant for many other landlords. And I think, yes, the financial checks do those, but there will be people, tenants out there particularly, who will go from address to address to address. They will run up debts, and because then that landlord doesn't trace them, they don't get the CCJ on them. So there's nothing there, there's no markers there to say that they've been a bad tenant previously. So vetting really, really is key, and that's where we can help in terms of looking at background checks, employment checks as well. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm not employed," you don't know what their employment is, we can find out where they're employed. So if you do need to do an attachment of earnings order to say that you want to get some money recovered, that's where we can come in. But if we can do that initially, it just gives the landlord that peace of mind before they start in that process and getting them in as a tenant.
Yeah, because having a good tenant really is the most important thing. I always say that to my landlords, and it just, some landlords let people in without doing any checks at all.
I know. And then wonder why it's all gone wrong.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Okay, so that's you, that's what you do. So if a landlord is interested in using you, how can they contact you?
The easiest way is through our website, taylorinvestigations.co.uk. You can phone us at any time. We've got an office in Norwich, but we do pretty much work 7 days a week anyway. So we've got a live chat on our website as well. So there's always somebody there that can answer any questions. All of our consultations are free of charge, and then we can advise what the best route is and what the best service is. Our services start from as little as £60 plus VAT, so it's not a bank breaking exercise to have some reassurance.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.